Namaskar, namaskar, namaskar. Welcome, 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 dear friends, to Living Forward. स्वागत है आप सबका. Welcome, welcome, welcome. वाह, क्या बात है. So this is a Sunday morning. It is 11 a.m. in India, and people from different parts of the world joining us. Very happy to host two very, very interesting people, dear friends. Today, we are going to have a conversation. We are trying to get into the mindset of what does it take to be an entrepreneur. A whole lot of us want something else in our life. We want to do something different. But we wonder, do we have it in? Do we have it in us to do something different? Well, hold on to your seats. You're going to listen to some very interesting thoughts and some very simple thoughts of how two enthusiastic, passion-filled individuals are creating something which you will very, very, very soon hear a lot about. So as we are all getting set for this, let's set the video rolling. Namaskar, namaskar, namaskar. Welcome again, dear friends. I am elated that today you have joined us for this very interesting conversation called Chai Bisket and More. So a quick question, even as I'm seeing a whole lot of you joining in, a quick question. How many of you really want to do something else in your life? Oh yeah, if only I could do something else. If only I could be an entrepreneur. If only I could branch out. Well, today I'm going to chat with two very interesting people whom I met very recently. And even as I met them recently, as I was working with them in a project, I said there is some unique spark in them. And I wanted to share my conversations with them, with all of you. So I'm very, very happy that so many of you are here. So hello, Umar Sani, Madhu Dhanalakshmi, Dark Knight Pro, how are you? Sarthak, how are you, my friend? Saroj Bandal, good morning, namaskar. Varun Marigoda, how are you? Madhu Dhanalakshmi, good morning from Pakistan. Good morning. Subhendra Ubale, good morning. LinkedIn user, your name I cannot read. Arun Bidlu, Adarsh Pandey, I can read your name. So fantastic, dear friends. I'm looking forward to this invigorating conversation. And I will be taking a question. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bachu Havdar, Badsha, Mahesh Khade, Chenapadu, Darapeneni. Hi, Ashish. I'm good. How are you, dear friend? Abhilasha Srivastav. So this is going to be a conversation on entrepreneurship. This is going to be a conversation how whatever be your background, wherever you come from, how will it be that you can alter something about who you are at this moment and create a future that inspires you? All right. So we look at many people, after they become really famous. All right. So what interests me is to look at what makes their mind tick. Will it be of interest to you? All right. So I take this opportunity to invite two really bright people, inviting Sharath Chandra and Anurag Reddy. Swagat. Thank you so much for taking my invite.
Good morning, sir.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. And so one thing very, very clearly, they are my producers. All right. They both are my producers. They are making a film in which I am privileged to be a part of. And so when I met them a few days back, so I did this, I said yes to the film basis, a very passionate director. And after I joined for that film in Hyderabad, I was blown by when I first met Anurag. So Anurag was the first person I met amongst Sharath and him. And there was something about him, and I said, whoa, Anurag, I mean, like, what you're talking about is, I had seen that passion in your director, Prashant, but I now see what is the space in which this passion came up. And the next day I met Sharath. And once I met them both, I said, and we had quite a few long conversations. I said, I must share this conversation with the world. So I will not come in your way of listening to them. Quickly, I'm first inviting you, Anurag. Okay? Because
Sure.
if I am talkative, Anurag isn't. All right. We need a foil in life. All right. So Anurag, I met you first. Yes,
Sure.
Shishir Kapadia. There are some amazing entrepreneurs, and what's very interesting about this set of entrepreneurs is that they are not second generation; they are generation first. Anurag Reddy, please share with me what started you off on this journey of entrepreneurship.
Uh, Hello, sir. Good morning again.
Good
Uh,
morning.
Hello to everyone watching this conversation. Uh, Sir, uh, I have done my studies in Hyderabad, my class 10th, 12th, and engineering in Hyderabad. Then later, I did my master's in marketing in Narsimonji Institute of Management Studies. And then while studying there in college, that is when it triggered. So basically, while in college, met a lot of Guju friends. Maybe that rubbed off a bit. And then obviously with Sharath, who is my classmate and friend since 11th, 12th standard. He's always been with that bent of mind where he always wanted to do something on his own. So, being around people in college and conversations with Sharath. So obviously, even I got, intrigued and wanted to always, okay, let's see what we can do in this space. So that was a starting point, being around people with that kind of mindsets. And then slowly we felt, okay, though we might be first generation, nobody from our families are actually into business or are entrepreneurs. We thought, okay, why not? We were just young, just out of college, 23, 24 back then. We had we thought, okay, let's try out. What is there in, trying out? Even if we lose, what is it? We can always go back to doing a job. So that was, being around people, having this feeling of, okay, we have a lot of age and time in our hands. That is when we said, okay, let's do this. And also uh, uh, the path that we chose, I think was kind of new for everyone. So there were no examples as such, of what uh, we can do, or previously somebody has done it in a particular format, so do we follow it, or what? There's nothing basically in that space. So it was a nice, interesting, challenging, fun space, and not be worried about previous examples. Somebody failed, somebody succeeded. There's nothing. So it's an open ground. You just go, keep driving. So
And
that's
that's such
kind
a
of.
beautiful way of putting it, Anurag, really kind of relating to life itself as an open ground. And so even as we are having this conversation, I want really people to get that you're not just looking at what they did, but what is the mindset which brought them around here. And just as Anurag mentioned that, he comes from a background which had nothing to do with entrepreneurship, and yet was meeting people, certain Gujarati friends of his, and then, Sharath, of course, was a friend of his since, I believe, Standard 11th. Is that true, Sharath? You've been friends since
Yeah,
Standard
yeah, yeah. So we went to intermediate together. That's where I met him,
11th?
and then all of us sat in the last bench, and that's how we got friends. And we were all one gang of
Yeah.
bunch
So
of people having fun.
how important was it for you, Sharath, that Anurag says that you had an interest to do something on your own, all right? So what were you waiting for? So you have something, you have a bent of mind. I want to do something on my own, and then where does that young 23-year-old? What is that 23-year-old really
I
looking
think I
for?
was 21,
21.
and
Okay.
I wasn't really waiting for anything. So Just to take a step back, I was in my MBA. So my background is very similar to what Anurag's was. So finished my intermediate in Hyderabad. We went to engineering together as well. It's a college called CVR College here in Hyderabad, and then I went to Symbiosis Bangalore for my MBA. And then while I was in MBA, there was this course called entrepreneurship. It was a 2 or 4 credit course. So we had all of us had to come up with a business plan. So that's when I kind of came up with a business plan for the course, which kind of hit me hard and intrigued me as well. And then we used to obviously be in touch with each other, me and Anurag, even in college. And then I bounced off this idea with him. And while I was in college, I think I was passing out sometime in March, April, but in Jan itself, I have registered the company, and then I finished my exams, came back to Hyderabad, took 3 or 4 months to kind of set up a small space and stuff, and we didn't really wait for anything to start off. I think I was just waiting for my college to finish, and as soon as I finished my college, we started out the venture, and yeah, that's how it started. And like Anurag was saying, are two things that I really liked in what he said is one, when you have nothing, you have nothing to lose. So that's fundamentally one thing that we kind of went forward with, and both. I mean, and more so Anurag, I have to give him credit for that. And it kind of rubbed on to me as well. Is if someone's doing something, we don't enjoy doing it. So whatever we might do, it could be a similar business or a new business. I think one of the things that it's not even from a strategic perspective, it's more a personality thing. That if someone's doing it, Anurag says, then why should we do it? Either we should not, or either we should do something new, or we should do something differently. So that's kind of been our journey, which is very exciting, which is also very risky, which also kind of hinders growth in some ways. But at the end of the day, you're doing something for the very first time, and there's one joy to it. Also, you don't have the baggage of a reference point. Because you're the first guy doing it. So you have a mental luxury of saying, this is the best possible way of doing this because no one's ever done this before. So I think that's where it all stems from.
So the blue ocean attracts both of you, all right?
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
not going where
My
others
entire house
are.
is blue.
Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed
So is mine. So yeah.
the blue. Just to know, blue is something which I can. Yes, thank you so much, Divya. Divya just showed some blue which is there in this also. So you know what fascinates me and Sharath Anurag. One thing which I'll share with you. It's you saying that I have nothing to lose. All right. It is each when we as human beings can say, I have nothing to lose. I'll just keep moving forward. It's a mindset. So at that age of 22 or 21, as you were saying, as you moved into this, and you said, "Look, I've got nothing to lose. I've got age on my side." I'll tell you something very interesting. At the age of 55, that's what I say to myself. I have nothing to lose. Okay, so I really find this interesting. And you people have showed that as you're moved from and we will go into your first venture as we take the conversation ahead. And yes, Arpita Pandey talks of charting your own path. So you definitely mentioned that there was, when we are curating this conversation, that Sharath, you were distantly, I mean, like films were very distant. Anurag, films were close to you, right? You liked films,
Very, yes.
right?
Very, very
So
close.
how did first show come into being?
So basically, right after college, we always wanted to do something related to films.
Okay.
So basically, when you say films, the first thing that comes to your mind is say, be on the creative aspect of making a film, be it a production or acting or a writing or a directing space. But since we were from a marketing and a management background, and we've studied marketing, so our thing was okay, wanted to be on the creative side, but marketing is that creative space that we can, thrive on. So that is when we started doing digital marketing for films. That is why we called it First Show. So that is a space which is very new, in Telugu film industry. There's none basically. There's no one doing marketing per se for films digital marketing for films in Telugu. So it was a very organic thing to do for us. uh, Whatever we have studied, we wanted to put together with something that we loved, which is films.
Okay. So here is
So
an interesting bit. Here is an interesting bit. So you come from a non-film background. You've
yes,
studied marketing. You do not even have the economic wherewithal, all that backing. But I see two very interesting things. Here you are mixing passion, say for you, the love for cinema, say for Sharath, the passion to create something and go something on their own, and you bring to it the expertise that you have learned, that you
yes,
have
sir.
been trained in. All
Yes, sir.
right. Now to this entire piece, you're adding that mindset of saying that we shall not wait and watch. We shall go about and creating. Because which year was this? Which year was first show
This
launched?
was 2012.
12.
Now 2012 you launch it, and let's face it, I've been in that industry for a while, so there have been people who have been much longer in the industry. How come? What did you provide as a digital marketing company? I would have imagined that would be Red Ocean, but how? What was that exciting thing that you brought out in first day, which made you stand out?
Sir, in first show, basically, like Sharath said, whatever we do, we kind of want to do something that is not done before. So
Okay.
any film that we approach, it's the basics of marketing, sir. Like
Hmm.
it's a four-piece. How do you position the film? How differently you place the film for the audience to get intrigued by the film. So the thing is, we always stuck to the
If you
basics
don't
of
mind,
marketing.
Anurag, I want you to enunciate the four pieces that will be of value to us.
So basically, the thing is, four pieces: price, place, product, promotion is how. So what is a product? Product is a film. So how do you know make it easier for people to understand that product in a marketing? If
So
I have
if I
to
can
break it
just
down.
chip, yeah. So what we basically did is, when we were studying marketing and advertising in college, there are certain theories that brands work on. Today, if a brand is launching a product, a Cadbury launches a product, or any company that launches a product has certain rules of how they would go about marketing. But films, on the other hand, never did that, never do that, by and large, at least Indian films, Telugu films. So, what we simply try to do is bring those theories of what we studied in college, what the big brands employ, and apply it for films. So, if I have a film, okay, how do I position this film? Who's my target group for the film? I'm sure we would all have heard right from the age we were growing up that everyone said this film is for everyone. Families can watch this, everyone can watch this film. And then we thought, no, not everyone can watch every film. Obviously everyone can, but it's not made for everyone. Each film is made for a certain target group in mind. So we started figuring out those things, and as much as you would like to kind of target everyone and make the most revenue for the film, what we try to do with the 4Ps and things of that nature is, okay, who's the core target group? Okay, 18 to 21 is the core target group for this particular film. Now that I know this, what do they want to see? What is in this film that I can show it to them so that they will be super interested to come into the theaters on day one, right? So that was kind of the approach that we took, which is the basics of marketing, the basics of advertising that have been going on for decades, and applying it for films, for our culture, for our language, for the work style that films operate in. And it's a different kind of business, right? Films are very different in terms of how it is from a brand. Like you run for a week and then that's about it. You work for a year and then the film runs for a week. So that was kind of where we stepped in and said, we'll use the theory, the education that we've had, with the passion for cinema, with the understanding of how people consume films, how people consume marketing of films,
Mhm.
how people consume content pre-release of the film,
Got
and
it.
then make it all the more exciting. So that was essentially the space.
Yeah, and what did it take from you both, to actually create a buy-in from the producers that, hey, listen, this is a new set. We kind of we have, typically people will say, come on, you're not from this field. We have been here for long, all right. So would you also like to say that probably this was the right moment for you to be there when people were realizing the need to uh, put the put the science behind marketing into films as such? So what was your process of selling your proposition to film producers?
So I think I'll take it first, and then probably Anurag can chip in. I've If there's one thing I've realized over years working, it's that I think uh, I think honesty and passion somehow rubs off. As much as we talk about very rational things like what's your pitch, what did you say, I feel at the end of the day it was two, like I said, 22, 23-year olds walking into an office of a big producer and saying very enthusiastically, sir, we want to do this, we want to do that, let's do this, let's do that. I think somewhere it was the enthusiasm that kind of rubbed off. And then I remember a lot of initial projects where a lot of people didn't even understand what we said,
Mhm.
because they're simply not from this background. Of course, their strengths are very
Sure.
different. And they just said, okay, you seem to be very interested in what you're doing. Just do it and show me, what it is. So I think initially I remember a lot of projects where they were just betting on our interest and passion and enthusiasm and said, and we were not really very worried about the monies initially, because we knew that we had to kind of make a big
Deliver.
story, make a case study. Yeah.
Sure.
So initially it was only about an opportunity to show what we are, and then each project that we had, Anurag is fantastic at coming up with new ideas.
Mhm.
So like I said, like I was saying, he doesn't like to even repeat his ideas twice. So
Sure.
it was for every project that we used to come up with very, very exciting new ideas. Engage with multiple partners. Collaboration is something we believe extensively in. So whoever is there, work with them, make a beautiful, case study of any activity. It could be as small as launching a trailer to launching a song, but how differently can you do it, right? So that's how I think we've taken one step at a time. And I would say that at the end of the day, it all boils down to who you are as a person and who you're working with. And fortunately, we've had the opportunity to work with some very, very genuinely good people in the industry who still like family to us, who are always like a backbone to us. Uh, Big producers, actors, directors, and all these people. So I think that's how I would like to see it, as to how we actually got our initial projects. Uh,
In
Anurag.
fact, what you said is very interesting, Sharath, because for a whole lot of people who are watching in on this point, you may feel that it's very difficult to break into entrenched fields, all right, where people are already entrenched. Maybe people are already entrenched, or maybe simply old ways of thinking are entrenched. So, okay, in this, and that's what Sharath very beautifully mentioned, that even in that old ways, passion plays a huge role, my friend. And see, I remember Sharath and Anurag. When I about 6 7 years back, when I started speaking to organizations and reaching out. So I remember very interesting. I got an audience with the CHRO of a very large company, and I met him, and we are chatting live and stuff like that. And then he called his team in, and after a while, I shared a few things with them which they found interesting, very different but interesting. And then they asked, "Are you certified?" And I said, "No, I'm not." And then he said, "Are you certified in this?" I said, "No, I'm not." And then they took about a minute and a half to exit the room. Okay, never to see me again. But you know what got me through there at that moment is that according to them, I'm not qualified for this job, because they have a certain standardization at that point, that this job needs this standardization. And how will it be if I can actually reach out to them through the passion that I have for human beings? And that's what made me stand out. And what I see here is that the two of you probably did not have the certification as far as film industry is concerned. That how many years have you been in the film industry? You got a family, you have grown up with films. You were just two simple people who had trained themselves, who had augmented their skills, but most importantly, they had the passion. They really had the passion to deliver something and to kind of stand out. So here comes my question to you, Anurag. So
Sure.
even as first show was being set up and set out to deliver, who thought of Did you want to take a break, and that's why you said let's have some chai biscuit? How did chai biscuit get born?
Sir, basically, while working on the marketing for a lot of films, what I saw was there was a very glaring space when it comes to media houses reaching out to youngsters,
Mm.
talking their language. Very relatable content was it was missing in the Telugu space basically. So that is when we thought, like we have news websites on one side, you have gossip websites on the other, but there's none who was talking to youngsters, say for example 18 to 24, 25, 26 year olds, in a language that they could understand.
Wow.
So that is when we thought, okay, this is a space maybe where we can start creating some content for them, because while marketing films, what we kind of understood was how to create content, to promote that film. In that
Got it.
process, we understood, okay, there's a whole lot more need to create a content on a larger scale for that 18 to 24, 25, maybe till 30-year-old. There's nobody speaking to them in a tone that they
Mm.
could understand, in a manner that was very relatable to them. So that is when we came up with this idea of Chai Bisket. It was a very organic. Even the name, it was a very funny thing. We were having tea and biscuits and all. So then we thought that is a place where, that is a time when we discuss a lot of relatable things apart from work. That is when you are free. You kind of gossip, talk a lot of things, discuss, debate, and do a lot of things, right? So we then thought, okay, Chai Bisket is the word, is the space, is the time, that is the keyword that people will connect to, and the language that that people would understand. Very interesting thing that we did back then was, we started with this website called Chai Bisket. We started with the website first because that was a easier form of content creation before getting into video format. Video
Got it.
format, we needed to have cameras, we needed to have writers, actors, directors, and a lot more editors and all. But website is a very more simpler way of talking to them. So that is when we wanted to start off a website. And what we tried to do is, everybody was writing in either English or Telugu. What we did was, you text in English or a English, right? Whenever you type to somebody, you kind of write Hindi words in English, Telugu
Yes.
words in English. So that is when we thought, okay, why not write content in English? Why should it be only proper Telugu or proper English? So then we felt, okay, that is when people will feel very conversational when we write it in English, because that is how you text your friends, that is how you talk to your friends. So it was a very organic thought process of being coming into the space of creating content for that age group, and also bring this English space to be very relatable to them.
Yeah.
So
In fact, I just want to bring out one point, and I want to come back to this spoken thing. What I find very interesting, and I want so here are Sharath and Anurag. They're kind of something which Sharath very interestingly mentioned. So films already made, they take parts of it and then they look, hey, you know what, people will find these parts interesting, and then they kind of present it to the world, all right? And that's how the digital agency of theirs, first show kind of took off. Now here is something interesting that I could hear, that even as you were making it, you say, hey, listen, why just take somebody else's content and reach out? So here they are using, as I understand, here you started using your ability. For earlier you were culling something from some other's content and catering to audience, because you needed to reach the audience, because only then will that audience reach, go and watch that film in that 1.5 weeks where it has to make money. So what I find very interesting is that you allowed your minds to stay open, rather than just stay saying that, okay, this thing is working, let us just stay here. You allowed your mind to stay open to look for more possibilities, even as first show was doing well. So, Sharath, I want to ask you, and you have broached on that, Anurag, about you actually started creating content in Tinglish. How important is it for an entrepreneur to ongoingly, even when in the midst of a present project, how important is it for the entrepreneur, or is there some unique DNA in the entrepreneur that even while in the midst of it, the entrepreneur is looking for possibilities of the next?
See, I think fundamentally, everything that there is around us, right? Whatever we're doing, whatever we're eating, drinking, consuming, using, gadgets, technology, news, everything. I fundamentally believe that everything that there is has been created by some human being who was born before us. So, and there is a lot of opportunity and scope to kind of do things that were not done before, and they could be the trend going forward as well. So I think that's something I strongly and fervently believe in, and when I do that, I kind of see that whatever idea that comes to our head, right? So for example, when Anurag said, let's do Chai Bisket in English, the first reaction is obviously of resistance. It's like, no one's doing that, you know. I don't see any other website doing that. It doesn't make sense. But then something in you tells that, but that's how all of us chat. That's how all of us interact. So there's two ways of looking at this scenario. One, no one's doing it, so maybe that won't work. Or two, hey, no one's doing it, is we're probably, you know, very lucky that we stumbled upon something that no one else did. Let's just quickly do it. So I think as people, both of us, see, one thing is obviously that since we're friends for a very long time, there's that trust and there's that rapport that, you know that you're there for each other. So you are not scared to take risks. So that's one. But the second thing, more importantly, is the fact that you do have a space that's empty, and you do know that whatever you're doing before helps this one. So for example, the agency and Chai Biscuit go hand in hand, went
Sure.
hand in hand, because I was using this to promote the films as well. So I to answer your question, I feel yes, we have to be open to all opportunities, because that's when growth happens, or you just get stagnated. But more importantly, I think it's very important to keep yourself motivated and excited. And that happens when you're doing things, new things every now and then. So if you're doing the same old thing for 20 years, you'll obviously get bored doing it. So when you're doing new things every few years, that's when it's exciting. So I think it goes both ways, both in terms of satisfying your personality as well as satisfying the business needs, that you have to keep doing something new. Now it could be a new venture, it could be doing a new feature in your existing venture, or whichever way it is. But I think doing something new is kind of essential to us as humans, very innately. And
Got it.
I think, and,
Yeah.
and one thing I'd like to kind of state is that, I think the same goes for Anurag as well, but I never saw my work differently from me. Like, I am my work and my work is me. So I see that work for us is very, very personal. It's a part of our personality. Just as I want to wear new clothes every year, I would want to do new stuff in my office every now and then as well.
Wow.
So it's mostly from that space that we operate from, and that kind of gives us that headroom to play around, take risks, do new stuff, succeed in some, fail in some, but in the end, you at least are excited every single day when you're driving to work.
So to add to this,
Great. Yeah, yeah, please, please.
so basically, marketing always is having your ears open always. Ears open always to the ground, to what people are saying, to what people are liking, to what people might like in the future. That is what we are taught. Like any product, any brand or a film, or what do they do? Like if you want to write a new film, where do you start? You start from a space where, okay, this has not been done before. This is what people might like. Any product, if you take a Britannia or a Parle, anybody, they want to come up with new products always. How do they do it? They do it by keeping their eyes, ears open, listening to what people are saying, predicting trends that might be coming up in the future. So even in our business flow, what we have tried to do is, okay, we are doing marketing. What is next? Okay, what is next? So by keeping our ears and eyes open is what is maybe feeding us. and also our feeling of always being in the blue ocean, blue world.
You're want to do that. Fantastic.
Yeah,
So
so it's
in fact, this this brings me to the next point that so we keep hearing of predicting trends. We keep hearing of what people may want. I mean, I kind of I always ask myself this question that how come Steve Jobs, did anyone ask for a glass topped phone? No, probably we didn't. But probably he heard people wanting. See, at that point, all that we wanted was, yeah, wo, do you have the charger, the thin pin charger of Nokia? That was our only concern. The battery is dying. But I believe that he heard that people want ease of use. He heard that people want at one place to listen to music, and we may never have articulated it. And that's my question to you as entrepreneurs. I would love to hear from you. What is it? What is it that you are listening when you are saying that this could be a future trend?
sir,
What is it that you are listening to?
sir, I think it's about staying very close to people and understanding their mindsets. I mean,
Hmm.
uh, it might be a very generic statement, but I feel um, it is a constant observation of people's mindsets,
Mhm.
what they are doing now, what they are trying to do, uh, what might, what you can do to ease their lives. As you said, Steve Jobs would have thought, okay, let's bring. There, people are listening to songs on a Walkman. They're buying a CD, putting it in a Walkman, buying hundreds of CDs. So he might have felt one day carrying his backpack, I want to listen to different kinds of music, but I have to carry hundreds of CDs. So he would have thought, okay, why not put everything together? It would have been his thinking while traveling to a certain place. So the thing is, what are the things that are difficult, complicated for people, or uh, I think it's just observing people's behavioral
Yeah.
uh, mindset, basically.
Interesting. You just said something interesting. I'll share my take on this. Sharath, do you want to go on this? What makes you
Uh,
predict trends?
No, I think I'm pretty much in line with what Anurag said. When so between the two of us, Anurag is more of a listener. I mean, he's constantly trying to understand mindsets and very patiently through social media, through news, through people. He's a very good listener. So he's constantly understanding what people are saying. So I think fundamentally listening to what people are going through. I think
Ah,
people say a lot when they don't say anything, right? So I think understanding and hearing what people don't say but what they feel is very essential. And
mm,
from there, when you understand that, okay, this is a space where someone's not extremely happy, there is room for improvement, is when you come up with ideas in that space. I think I remember I think reading Steve Jobs' book where he said no one really people don't know what they want. That's one of his favorite lines. So, but people do know that there is something they want, but they don't know what it is. I mean, obviously, when you're carrying 100 CDs in a big pouch, this is not exactly the right way to do it, but you're still
you
doing
don't
it.
you
That's where,
don't just want a better CD holder. You probably want
yeah,
something else. Don't
yeah.
even you
While
scared to
while
want
while most people in the world are probably looking at better CD holders, this guy said, "How do I chuck this piece entirely?"
check this out.
So I
Yeah.
think fundamentally it's about questioning those very roots of
Mm.
what's happening. That kind of gives you the space to redefine an industry, redefine the way we live.
You
So
know what? You know what? What's something very interesting that you just shared, and I'll share my take on this. So just as you said, Anurag, listening, and Sharath, you're saying that people are not saying a lot of things. They don't even know what they want. Consider for a moment. I've always felt that that foolish thought that you had is probably something that they have not articulated. Are you getting a sense of what I'm sharing? So there's these foolish thoughts that we have. Can we do this? That foolish thought which you can't even articulate. Are we so stupid? Probably the entrepreneur listens to that foolish thought that he has. It's not exactly people would have heard. So when you speak about features, Sharath, you mentioned that you started a business and then you add features to it. Somewhere till the next big leap happens, in that same business, we keep adding features. So it is an alliteration of what started, and then you say, could this work? Because I think it could work. So it is not as much as I would have heard, but I think that they may want it. All right. So here is my question to you: is that I've seen in Chai Bisket, your YouTube channel, people are asking what is this channel? It's called Chai Bisket, and they make some extraordinary, stuff and content from that. You added, even before you came into your third part, which we'll come to it. You added certain features. You added certain sub channels to it, or sister or brother channels to it. What was that thought that when Chai Biscuit started? And just take us through the journey of Chai Biscuit, of where it started and where it is right now.
So basically, like I said, we started with a website because it's a easier content to create than making videos.
Sure.
This requires a bigger team and all.
Mhm.
Slowly, while doing articles, we saw that we are getting that talent. We are getting a lot of talent who said, okay, we wanted to, who can write, who could act, and a lot of things that happened parallelly while we were doing our website thing. So that's when we started doing videos, small little videos. We started with like a 1-minute video, 2-minute videos for a Father's Day or a Mother's Day, on occasions like those. Slowly started with those videos, brought one small camera on a rent, per day rent, and bring some actor. We started initially, we did videos with a voiceover without any actors because it was actually difficult to bring in actors, right actors. Slowly we started to bring actors on board. So it was a very organic step by step, from articles to 1-minute videos without actors to couple of minute videos with actors. Slowly we evolved. We brought things one by one.
And then what happened?
And then the video content blew up like on it. Maybe it was Geo that launched, and the entire ecosystem. People started to watch more video content. We started to make longer format content, from 2-minute videos to 5-minute videos to 10-minute videos.
And you got some interesting writers, actors, directors coming
Exactly.
saying, hey, listen, we want to do something.
Exactly. Yeah. So while doing it, when people watch, oh, okay, these guys are making small little videos. Maybe I can write. Maybe I can join the team. Maybe I can go and act with them. Maybe I can go edit videos for them. Slowly, one by one, and I think we kind of spotted the right kind of talent. Somebody with the right bent of mind, somebody with that passion, that drive. We could connect to people like how we were back in 2012, 13 when we started out. How we were, I was kind of looking for people who are in that kind of mindset.
Wow.
Okay.
And I really want this. I really want this. I mean, this is one of the reasons why we are here in this conversation, Sharath Anurag, is that what I saw in them both is that I had not heard of Chai Biscuit till I met them. And once I met them, I started looking into Chai Biscuit, not just the Chai Biscuit, which is a fantastic YouTube channel, but also the sub channels that they created. And over the years, what has happened is young talents who otherwise wouldn't ever have had the opportunity started reaching out. They started writing content, they started filming content, they started directing, acting in the Chai Biscuit atmosphere, if I may call it, that entire zone which you created,
Ecosystem.
where Chai Biscuit was there, and they were now creating content. Now, the next step is something which really excites me. Would you like to share that how this is where a movement is developing? Because that is how I see Chai Biscuit films also. What I find it interesting is that it's part of a movement that you're creating out of an idle conversation over Chai Biscuit. Please tell us about it, that how that content is moving now to larger screens.
So with how we scaled up from doing the small 1-minute videos to 2-minute, 5-minute, 10-minute videos, series of videos, web series on YouTube, our organic goal next was to make longer format, a film content, 2.5 hours content. So the thing is, these boys and girls who were part of this journey, who started doing small little videos to making a longer format content, everybody evolved. Like it was a parallel journey. We took our journeys together. I wouldn't
Got
say, I had this, I'm the boss of this, these people, worked on, nothing like that. We were all traveling together. We were all collaborating together.
Love
It was
it.
a very nice space, our structure was always flat. There's no boss, there is no, employee, there's nothing like that. Everybody, we came together for some purpose, creating good content, you know, giving good content to people. So in that journey, all of us evolved, all of us grew together, traveled together. So now all these boys, after having an experience of say 3 years, 4 years in this space, are now ready to make longer format content.
Wow. So
uh,
they got trained while in the system. So they
Sir,
have been doing it.
sir, trained, I think, wouldn't be a right word. I would say we all played together and learned together.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
I'm nobody to train. What do I know? I'm not a producer for, decades. I'm
So
a
consider,
young,
would the word evolve resonate with you? How each one of them
def-
evolved in the system as they made
definitely,
films.
sir. Yes, sir. Along with them, we also evolved, sir,
Each one,
from
yes,
making,
absolutely.
exactly. So from being a website writing small little articles to making a film, we've evolved. I've become a producer. They have
Hmm.
become a director for a long format content. Somebody's become an editor. Somebody's become a lead role. Is a lead actor. You're acting with Suhas. You know how he is.
Yes.
Uh, so we've all evolved together. It's a
So,
journey we
so
did together.
yeah. So he spoke about Suhas. He's the
Sure.
young actor who has been acting for the last 3 or 4 years with Chai Bisket,
Sure.
and now he's doing the lead role in this
Yes, sir.
film. The name of the film is writer
Padma Bhushan.
Padma Bhushan,
Padma Bhushan.
and yes, writer Padma Bhushan, and I happen to be playing his father in that, and that's how I met these two amazingly bright souls. So I'll and so here is one bit, because evolution is a very important part of any conversation that I am in, because I do believe that we have a choice at each time to either become a fossil or to evolve. And what's very interesting is that at any point in our life, we may stop our evolution. If we become nice and successful and you stop evolving, you're very quickly going to be turned into a fossil. Now, how does Chai Biscuit, even as it's moved from its first digital avatar, and what's very interesting is that your agency is continuing. It's one of the topmost agencies in Telugu world, where you're
Yes.
making you're the topmost digital agency. First show, and then you move to Chai Biscuit Films. Now, how does Chai Biscuit Films keep on evolving? How does it keep on evolving?
Sir, we are with Chai Biscuit Films.
Hmm.
Our vision and goal is to make films with debutants, only debutants.
Got it.
So whatever films we want to make only with first-time directors.
Got it.
So Prashant is the first-time director for your film.
Yes.
We're also doing pre-production for two other films,
Hmm.
first-timers again. So
Hmm.
our vision or the direction that we want to take is create a you know bunch of young directors like first timers, because see
Yeah.
sir, uh, s- back in 2012 somebody gave us that first opportunity. you
Yes.
know
Yes.
I'm still traveling with them. I'm indebted to them forever. So in
Hmm.
that way, for first timers, how it is tough to break in, right?
Oh
So
yes.
tough to understand their mind states, tough to understand what they want to create. So we want to be that enablers.
Wow.
I'm nobody to give an opportunity to anyone, but we want to be that
Enabler. I
enablers.
like.
Yeah, for
Yes.
that first timers to tell the stories that they want to tell, to
Fantastic.
make
In fact,
good content.
I've had the privilege to work with a few first timers throughout my career. One of them that you may know is Surendra Reddy, and
Sir,
nothing like Telugu was being made. So I do understand, and you see, I myself I've been a newcomer many times, because I started off in Hindi a newcomer, then I came to Tamil and Dil as a newcomer.
yeah,
In that film, Dharani was making a comeback. Vikram was again trying to make a comeback. So I know really the passion with which newcomers in each one of us has been, that extra bit of passion. And therefore, my question to you is, how does How do Sharath and Anurag make sure that passion with which they began first show, that passion with which they began that small website which just had some written material, because you saw a blue ocean there and you said, look, we want to do something which you have never done before, no one's done before. How do you, where you are, let me tell the world, they already are producing two films. I'm actually acting in their second film. All right. So the first one film is, I think it's called Major, right?
Yes.
On Major Unni Krishnan, and this second one is Writer Padma Bhushan. How do you manage to retain the passion when you are becoming well known and
Sir,
successful?
sir, I think uh, well-known and successful is very, very subjective, sir. uh, People might feel, okay, you are producing a film, you are well-known, you are successful. There is nothing, that kind of word is there, not there for me. I think it's only the continuous passion that evolving
Mm.
with each and everything that we do. You know, I don't know. I mean, my mindset is very closed in the sense that I want to just be around with people who are very passionate. So
Ah,
if that is giving me success or whatever you might call it, they are all byproducts. I don't care. I'm not behind that. I'm just behind. I just want
yeah.
to be with people who are passionate.
Sharad,
Uh,
your take on this?
No, I think that we have similar takes on most of things, thankfully. So I think success is an illusion because whatever you do, there's always something bigger ahead of you, right? So if you're doing, like, if I'm doing a 1 crore film today, my next goal will be to do a 10 crore film. And someone who's doing a 100 crore film, his next target will be a Bahubali. So obviously, I think the only thing that's constant is the hunger that you have. So while we take a moment to cherish, pop a champagne or have a drink or have a dinner and say, okay, this is something we've done enough, but then it doesn't stop the journey because there's so much we want to do. And I think we're probably 1% there and 99% to go. So there's so much we want to do that, it's only the uphill that we always see than,
Yeah.
look back and, ride on our past laurels. So
Mm.
I think, I think it's like a journey. It's like a 1,000 kilometer journey, and you're like 10 kilometers there. You can say, okay,
Absolutely.
I've done 10, but you still know that you have 990 to go. So I think,
Yeah.
and like Anurag said, for both of us, I think it's mostly more than the result of doing something. It's the joy of doing something. It's
Ah,
the joy of the journey that matters than
wow.
the joy of reaching the destination. So that is what keeps us going. Working with these young guys, that passion, that open-mindedness, that happy culture. I feel these things matter more than the end goal, which is, okay, you got some money at the end of the day, or you got some success at the end of the day, you got some name or fame or at the end of the day. But
Mm.
I think this journey gives a lot more joy to us than all the other things. So that's
So I think it's very beautiful. And as I step into the absolute last part of this conversation, where post Chai Biscuit, I see you also wearing some interesting. In fact, Sharath, today, are you wearing that? No, you aren't. But each time I meet Sharath, he's wearing a particular brand. Okay, and it's quite a
no.
brand.
I'm
And
I'm wearing Rowdy now.
are you
This
are
is
you
Rowdy.
wearing it? All right. Okay. All right. You are wearing it. Okay. All right. So please tell us something about the brand that you're wearing. And imagine moving from making digital promotions and then moving to Chai Biscuit films, and now you're making clothes. What do you know about it, Sharath? How could you get into
Nothing.
it?
So okay. I think one thing that I must point out in our journey is that uh, because our so I essentially believe that there's two ways of doing business, right? So one is you want to do something and you kind of keep building your resources to do that. I want to build a building, an amazing piece of whatever architecture, so I need this, I'll do that. Our journey, on the contrary, has been more like, a walk in the a walk on a road. So we've been adding whatever's been coming through. Like tomorrow, if you come and say, Sharath, I have this idea, we'll probably be like, okay, sir, let me discuss with Anurag and we'll probably do it. So that's been our mindset. And one day, I think back in 2017, if I'm not wrong, we were working with, because of the kind of work we do with films and actors and stuff, we were interacting with Vijay Deverakonda, and there was this one idea that we had where we said, why don't we launch a fashion label? It was a very random thought that all of us had together, and then we said, okay, why not? Like you said, we know nothing about fashion. We knew nothing about fashion, but we were like, let's figure it out. How bad can it be?
But
How
only,
tough
we
can
do only one thing that nobody ever did it before. So it's a blue ocean again.
Yeah, and even in that, again, our blue ocean was so the way we sell is something called a drop fashion model. We're probably the only brand in India that was doing it back then. I think a few brands have started after we did. So because we were pressed for resources, because I couldn't make 100 styles into 100 units, 1,000 units each, we said every week we'll drop one style. So that kind of cuts down our operating costs and inventory costs, right? So every Wednesday so this t-shirt, for example, this Wednesday I'll just drop this t-shirt. Next Wednesday I'll just drop another t-shirt. So that's something.
Will after 3 Wednesdays this style won't be available?
No, so everything's limited edition, and
wow.
So again that's
What
to
a
cut our.
brilliant idea.
Yeah, so ever since
Imagine,
then
I've heard that limited edition used to be for absolutely expensive things, and what you have done is such a brilliant. You're kind of cutting down on your inventory. You're making sure that there is interest peaked every week, and you're dropping it every Wednesday. Wow, isn't that a
and we've been doing it ever since. Yeah, for the last 2.5 years or more, close to 3 years now. So I think that's where again the fact that it was not done before excites us. Like no one's doing it before. So while it also gives you the advantage of failing with grace. So I always believe that when you're doing something for the very first time and you fail, people will still say, "Yaar, pehli baar kar raha hai, theek hai." So you have the advantage when you fail, and when you succeed, obviously you're happy. So I think it goes both ways.
So another very interesting thing that you mentioned in our conversations is that your talent pool, even how the designer bit also fell into place. Would you like to talk about it? How people from starting from the digital agency to the Chai Bisket to this thing, how the talents are also being used?
Yes, sir. So basically, sir, my laptop charger is. Can I just?
Yeah. No,
Don't worry, we can keep moving. Remember, we are travelers. We can keep moving. Don't worry. Anurag, we'll get Anurag in. Don't worry. Anurag, you can walk and talk. All right. So even as Anurag is fixing his charger, fantastic.
So basically, when we started our agency back then, we wanted to have like pool of designers, copywriters, like marketing brains, everybody, right, in the team. So while we evolved with our different ideas, even each one of them, traveled with us for such a long time. Like for example, there's a guy called Mahesh in our team who's been with us since first show, Chai Bisket, even in Rowdy. Now he's the lead designer.
Wow.
So
he's just designing different things.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, that journey, sir, basically.
Yeah.
I think another way of kind of putting it is, I think we hire people and work with people and kind of travel with them for what they have than what they do, because I think what someone has is very core to them, and with that you can make anything. Like Mahesh, that Anurag was mentioning, start off with making social media posts, to then doing logos, to then designing our websites, to then doing logo and stuff for Rowdy, to designing clothes today or accessories today. So we fundamentally believe that, and that's one example, but a lot of other people who were writers, like there's this guy called Sandeep Pinati who joined us as a website writer. He's just debuted with his feature film as well, So I think the space that you have when you work with people, and when people are also in a mindset that I'm free to do what I enjoy, what I like to do, is what gives out great things. So I think that's where it comes from. Most of us have, in fact, in our team, have done so many things and have evolved into something that we are not. And I don't know 10 years from now what all of us would be doing.
On this fantastic note, Sharath and Anurag, when you kind of mentioned that they have evolved into what they are at this moment, and we do not know how else they will evolve, just to share with you, I mean, something which inspires me. is that we are a very small team at Avid Miner. We are 7 of us. All right, 7. We kind of call ourselves misfits. Untrained, uncertified people who are trying to do some amazing things. And what inspires me is to have a set of people to walk around with who are passionate, because passion is something, when you can add that to life, when you can add that to your talent and your expertise, something amazing opens up. And another something which also inspires me, what you have just mentioned, it's not about what you have done, but what could be possible. And I have met you both on the sets of writer Padma Bhushan, and I've seen the entire atmosphere of that shooting unit. Um, Through that, I can get a glimpse into your lives, into the glimpse into your businesses. I'm sure in the coming days, weeks, and months, I will get to know you better. I'll get to know more about you. But for now, I wanted to take this opportunity. We are amidst shooting. I'm going back to your schedule on the 27th. I just want to thank you for sharing your passion with people on these various platforms. We are on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Periscope, as well as Twitch. I promise you one thing, dear friend. In this world where there are a host of people who are talking of what's not possible, it is very important that we at Avid Miner believe in. It's very, very important that we share and we talk with people who say it is possible, who engage in a can conversation. And for us, can is creating amazing news. You see, when you're creating amazing news with every stuff that you do, that is what the world needs to be inspired by. Sharath Chandra, Anurag Reddy, I'm very grateful that you were our guests on Living Forward. All of you who were listening in today, if you have anything that you wish to reach out to us for, please visit our website, uh, avidminer.com. Please have a look at the website of is Rowdy website also mentioned here. Please go on to the yes rowdyclub.in is there. Please go on there. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ashish Vidyarthi Official, and of course Chai Bisket. Some amazing stuff is happening there. Let's all grow together. Let's stay inspired. Thank you, everyone. Al Shukran Bandhu, Al Shukran Zindagi. And a last message from you, Divya Sane. I want to thank you for having assisted this Sunday morning for this program. Can you please run the last video? And Sharath and Anurag, I'll just join you. Al Shukran Bandhu, Al Shukran Zindagi. Thank you so very much.